Hey, Composing Gloves here, and today we will be talking about, you guessed it, the Fruity Delay Bank in this next video in the FL12 Effects series, some part number, I believe it's 4, on this delay bank. So this is what we did last time in the last video, so you should be familiar with this and all this magic jazz is going on, but that's not exactly intuitive to what we're going to be doing here, because we want to look at one part. We're going to be looking at the feedback section in particular. So we're going to open up a new pattern, make sure you name a new pattern. It's spelled exactly like that, and all the capitals have to be just like that. And we're going to use another harmless. Harmless. I'm going to come in here and turn off the delay bank and reverb from the previous tutorial. I'm leaving it there because I might use it as an example at the end. I'm not sure how it's going to work out. And we're going to add another Fruity Delay. So your harmless is coming in this track, and we're coming in here to the, or not a Fruity Delay bank. That's the fancy term. We're going to come in here and grab a Fruity Delay bank. And here we go. And this is what we got. We don't want that. I want the pluck just because it's nicer. So, wala la la la. So now we have this feedback. You should know what the filters do now. This feedback has an effect on additional things. So first off, this should be familiar with you. Essentially, when you open Fruity Delay 2 as a plugin, it is almost just this little section right here. All the rest of this jazz doesn't even exist, just this. So you should kind of be able to inference what some of these things do, but you have some extra options. So as you can see, here's our timing. So our timing is how we link it up with our song, the amount of time between each interval. So we hit, and you see, if I've come down to 4, I'm not sure what these numbers are in, if they're like milliseconds or something, or if they work off multiples of the times tempo. I don't know. Or if they're rhythms. I think they might be rhythms. I've read that somewhere in a manual, in a FL's manual area stuff. I don't know. Maybe I think they're rhythms though. They're related to rhythms within a tempo. I'm pretty sure about that one. So right now you see they're playing. So if we were to have a metronome on, and let's just mute all of this jazz. If we had a metronome on, and we want to find out if our thing's in time, right? So we're going to put down one here, 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 and here. And if the things line up, then we know it's in time. And I'm just showing you this to be super visual. So as these notes go by, we should hear it in time. So it is in time. And as long as we select a value that, see, there are your quarter notes. So 4 is quarter notes. That seems to make sense. Let's do 3.5. Oh, it only goes up to 50. Interesting. So as you can see, we can do stuff like that. Now, you might be saying, oh yeah, that's great. Well, if we turn this T off, which in the manual, this is backwards. I'm not sure if they know that, but it says the first T. This is the first T that's there. So it's kind of interesting. But if we come down, now we have a millisecond control. Oh, yeah. So this is definitely ratios with time. So now we have a millisecond control, so it's not linked to your tempo. So just so you know, that's the thing. If we have this off, we do like something. See, it doesn't give a crap about what our tempo is doing. So I'm going to leave it in tempo mode. Up here, now you know about the filters. What this does is you get your first reflection. First reflection is a term usually used when you're generating reverb, but it is also, I guess it's a term used to define delay, but it's also a term heavily used when you're talking about reverb too. Anyways, this just determines whether or not your first reverb is affected by your filters. So if we turn our filter on, you heard our first reflection was processed. So if we turn this on, you see our first reflection is not processed. And they actually are different. You have 2 bars at maximum here. So that's the one where it's not processed. Here's the one where it is. So you can hear that. So that's what that does. Now we have feedback. We can turn it off. Now we have no feedback. I'm going to turn this metronome off. We have normal. So what this does is these are all panning options because they put the pan knob down here. So it's not super clear that these are panning. So like someone might think this is normalized, and someone might think this is like inverted and has something to do with volume, and some ping pong is usually associated with panning. So anyways, normal, not normalized. So you have stereo data coming in right now. You have a left and a right channel. This just keeps your left and your right channel as your left and your right channel. So it gets panned left and right exactly how you would expect it. You can invert it so that whatever's in your left channel is now being panned to where the left channel was supposed to go. And where the left channel was going to go panned is now panned where the right channel was supposed to go. So they get flipped around. Then you have ping pong. So ping pong is when you reach the maximum side of a speaker, the next reflection will bounce to the other side and it'll go back and forth like a game of ping pong. All right, now we have this offset. This offset is for stereo separation. I talked about this quite extensively in the Fruity Delay 2 video. So go check that out if you want to know more about the offset, because you could create stereo images and there's all these psychoacoustic things that go on because we can't hear delays within a certain amount of time. And it's important to note that in the middle is 0. So that's important to note. And then you have this separation. This is stereo separation. I have no idea if it makes the left louder than the right. I don't believe it's a timing thing. So I believe it's a volume cue for because your ear, there's 2 ways you tell where something is in a space. The first one is when it hits your ear. Well, there's a few others, but these are the 2 big ones. When it hits your ear, is it louder in that ear than when it reaches your other ear? Then you're like, oh, the sound is where the louder reflection hit me first. Or there you hear something and it hits your one ear first and then it hits your other ear. So that first example is a bad example. That's the timing cue. So it hits one ear first, then it hits the other, and you're like, oh, it came from wherever you heard it first. But another one is it hits both ears at the same time, but it's louder in one ear than the other. That's another cue. And I believe this uses a volume cue. So you can get all sorts of weird mid-ground offset. So offset changes the amount of time before it hits one ear before it hits the other ear. And again, I talk about this with the Fruity Delay 2 plugin. Then you have your regular panning and your volume for your feedback specifically. So just interesting. There's our ping pong in full glory. You use it. Oh, you set it up using the offset, not the pan. That's something that's a little unique to this plugin that I did not, because I don't use this that often in this regard. So ping pong, yeah, you have to use the offset. In other plugins, you use the pan to do it, but in this one, you use the offset. So it's using that cue as it goes back and forth between the two. That's kind of interesting. So that's what this feedback section does. If you have any questions, let me know. Subscribe and have a blessed day.
Opposing wolves. Reversing.